push right now.
Absolutely, and a bad rally results in some Overlord deaths right there, but the Mutas are on a big way. Can he get the magic box down on these Thors that he needs to win? 19 Mutas trying to pick off these Thors. There are the Manor Mules, so he's trying to repair.
He's got to repair the Thors.
He's got to repair the Thors.
He's got to get there in time,
Can
but
he
the Thors are in trouble.
Two down, and he has to beat a hasty retreat. The 19 Mutas made it once, saving Kongho's skin.
Yeah, you know, he didn't actually even repair with those mules. I mean, it's tough. You have to calm down and then select them, then hit auto repair. Like, that's something every mech player does, but it is a bit inconvenient to do right in the heat of battle. And here come the Broodlords. Is MVP prepared at all? He's only making 2 Vikings at once.
And 7 Broodlords on the way. However, that was most of the Corruptors and the advanced turrets. So MVP trying to make as many hard points as possible, stacking up those command centers as well.
Yeah.
And look at that, he's trying just to continually thin the numbers of Vikings out.
It's a great idea. Totally worth it, absolutely. I mean, and the turrets aren't going to help MVP that much against the Broodlords. He really needs Vikings.
More scans going down for MVP. He doesn't see it. He's hunting for the Broodlords. He knows they're out there somewhere.
Yep.
Sees everything right now. But a lot of mining bases, and look at that. Kongho taking another one at 12 o'clock as we speak. And army supply advantage for MVP, but a lot of it's in tanks. And these Broodlords will demolish them.
It's like ultimate,
if left unchecked.
Ultimate freebie unit composition for Lysira. He's got the Swarm Hosts and he's got the Broodlords.
And there's the Corvid reactor.
Yeah. A lot of times you'll see Terran switching into Ravens at this point, but is it too late here?
He's got to be careful. Those Broodlords are a little bit in the open. He's trying to attack with the Broodlords. He's got a lot of siege. One Broodlord does go down. These Mutalisks trying to focus down the Vikings. However, they're getting hit over the top by the Thors.
A lot of good anti-air for MVP right now, and I don't think Lysira has this.
I don't think he does either. He got caught a little bit out in the open, and these tanks just powering through. And all of a sudden, MVP with a massive supply lead, 100 in advance as he totally cleans up all of those expensive units from Kongho.
Had enough Vikings out just in time. 23 roaches on the way for Lysira, but I do not think that's going to be enough damage against this.
MVP rolls on through. He's hunting for bases now.
Yep. Kongho sees him rolling, and he hates it. And here's a big siege up at the natural. This is going to be so hard to break, but he's going to try.
Roaches going in, trying to get next to those tanks, but there are just too many tanks, too many roars. GG, MVP moves on to the quarterfinals. Kongho, unfortunately, will have to go back home to the LGIM house without a win today.
Our 4-time GSL champion, 1-time WCS EU Season 1 champion, takes out his teammate Lysira, aka Kongho, and there is Kongho looking a bit dejected, obviously. His season is over, but played some good games. Game 1 was really impressive, actually, and again, Kongho's back, man. I mean, this is just the beginning. This expansion is so good for him.
Absolutely. So there's our bracket, by the way. You can see in Group B, we did not cast most of these, so some of you guys probably know them better than we do.
That's probably right. You guys are like, oh, I remember that game, and we're like, oh, we didn't see it because you're casting other groups. Oh, well. Gonna have to watch the VODs, I guess. But that does it for Group B. Alicia and MVP. How about Alicia, man? I really need to go back and see those games. Getting out of his group 2-0, really impressive play, I'm guessing, coming out of that guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to take a break on this stream for a while. It's going to be about 30 minutes, they say, between Series is what we've been told.
Series I.
Series is. Anyway, so that's going to be about it, but we'll be back with Group D later. Now, at this point in time, what you guys want to do is you want to hop over to the other stream, check out Day 9 and Apollo casting. That's going to be it for us now. We'll be back later, guys. Don't go anywhere.
to the WCS Season 1 final here at the Yongsan Esports Stadium in Seoul, Korea. I'm Monte Cristo, and joining me, as always, is Doa, and
That's
that
right.
man is STX Seoul's Innovation.
Yeah, we're into our first match from Group D. It's going to be Innovation versus Evil Geniuses Revival. So we have the runner-up for WCS Season 1 here in Korea versus Revival, who got to, I believe it was the semifinals in NA.
Yes.
That's right.
No, he got to
the finals.
Yeah,
oh yeah, what am I thinking?
He lost to Hero.
Again, against Hero, yeah, of course, yeah. All right. There's a lot of tournaments to keep track of these days. Like, I don't even know how I'm able to watch it all, but because I'm not.
So, well, there we go.
I wish I could, though.
So I believe, actually, if you guys are tuning in, Group C going on the mainstream right now, that we are about to kick off Group D, Innovation versus Revival, followed by Damaga versus Roro, and so on and so forth. I believe 4GG just beat Hero on the mainstream on Group C. And so we're into SOS and Symbol right now. If you guys want to check that out, Day 9 and Apollo will be your casters on the mainstream.
That's right. Double Sean. Go
Double
check him
Sean.
out. Cool. In our group, we have Innovation, Revival, Damaga, Roro, the final foreigner, the last of three. The other two, Stefano and TLO, not making out of their group. So Damaga has his work cut out for him here in Group D. He is going up against Roro, Innovation, Revival. That is so terrifying. Not only does he need to win ZVZs against potentially some of the best Zergs out there, but also winning a ZVT against Innovation potentially. A pretty tall order, I gotta say.
And it took Solkey 7 games to defeat him.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, Innovation was the heavy favorite going into the finals for the WCS Korea last week.
Totally was, yeah.
And took the first 3 games, couldn't quite close it out, but Innovation, he saw kind of a fairy tale run through the WCS in Korea where he had pretty much only TVZs, one of, if not his best matchup.
Yeah.
And what do we see again here today? It's Innovation versus the Swarm, looking to continue his streak of insecticide.
I'm not sure if like Innovation is running this Zerg like extermination sort of company, or if he's just like the Zerg keeper. He just gathers them all around him and dominates them. And there he is from STX Seoul, Lee Shin-young, Innovation. So good.
And you can see right there, boasting that very impressive 70% win rate. And by the way, 4 of those losses in the WCS, those came in the finals.
That's
against
true,
Solkey.
yeah.
So he was pretty staggeringly in the lead before that. He was 11-2 before the finals.
And I mean, before those finals, Solkey really was one of the few Zergs to be able to take games off him as well. Now, what's interesting is that we've got him going up against EG Revival. Now, Revival was a teammate of Symbol's back on TSL. Those two are pretty close. Symbol played against Innovation in the semifinals for WCS Season 1, remember? And Symbol was one of the only other few Zergs to take games off of Innovation. So has Symbol taught Revival some tricks? We better hope so. Revival looking pretty calm here, but it's the calm before the storm, Monte Cristo, no doubt.
Well, and when we've seen Symbol and Solkey be successful against Innovation, it's when they've been doing those timing attacks, when they've been really using the early game, the roach pressure, the baneling pressure. Because once it gets to the macro game, Innovation is just going to attack you on every front and destroy you with drops.
And you know what? Revival is no different really from those other two Zergs. He plays in a very similar style to both Symbol and Solkey. He likes to be very aggressive early on. He's always been a big roach player. He's part of that little group of Zerg players that came out of the second coming of the TSL house sort of before they finally folded forever. It was him, Hyun, and Symbol, and they all kind of have a similar style. They're all very, very aggressive Zergs. And Revival kind of has those traits that have allowed other Zergs to take games off Innovation. So we'll see if he can do it today.
Well, as you can see so far in the WCS, he's only played 4 games against Terran, but is 3-1 so far. Most of his games in that ZVZ matchup. And hi, guys. Welcome to the casting couches. We take it a little more casually.
If you're wondering why we're looking down like this, it's not because there's a cute puppy or anything like that. It's because that's where the monitors are. So that's where we're checking things out. So basically, we are just moments away from getting into game number 1 on Akalon Wastes. And that has been, a map that we've seen a lot of. We even saw MVP go mech on the very last game we casted here on this stream. on Akalon Waste against Kongho.
Yeah. Very interesting. Well, he didn't quite get to full bore mech because Kongho died. We did see the tank lines.
What more do you want, man?
I was thinking about game 2. Sorry, with the other push, but yeah, that last game with all the Thors and tanks, very impressive play and very effective play as well coming in. And Kongho got a little bit caught out in the open, so it's interesting to see that mech still can be a force to be reckoned with. But
well, MVP is looking quite good himself. Innovation is going to probably look good as well. I mean, first game we've seen him play here since the WCS Season 1 finals, so has he kind of come back from it a little bit? I was talking to some of the Korean casters earlier. They were telling me his mental state is still broken, is how they described it. He's still reeling from that crushing 4-3 defeat at the hands of Unjin Star's Sulky. He's going to need to kind of get it together, though, because Game 1 is starting.
Well, it will be on Akalon Wastes. It's the same map we just saw in this matchup. And the violins are playing dramatically, and that means it's time for Innovation versus Revival. Innovation will be your blue Terran player from STX Seoul. There he is, focusing intently. And here on Akalon Waste, he'll be spawning at 4 o'clock. And the red Zerg, Evil Geniuses Revival.
Yeah.
Spawning at that 10 o'clock position.
I've always been a big fan of Revival. I mean, really all the Zergs that came out of that TSL house, Revival was one of my favorites, and ZVZ actually was one of the matchups I really liked him in. He was one of the people to really sort of polish the 2-hatch into Muta into 3-hatch, and then kind of go into a longer ZVZ from that, back when like Roach Infester was still the thing to do. And so I'm really curious to watch him in ZVZs that he'll inevitably play in this group after this to see how his style is kind of adapted. Obviously, Mutalists are going to be a big thing, but, you know, is he going to try to reconquer some of his sort of former ZVZ glory?
Well, Innovation looking for revenge. And after losing those finals, I think he'll take it out on any Zerg and within reach. And the 3 rather, in this group, going to be no exception. And Innovation's still a favorite, really, in this tournament. Still a lot of people thinking he has strong odds to win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you really can't count Innovation out. I mean, he came so close to winning the whole season. He certainly is a favorite to get to the finals, but it really does depend, I think, on his sort of mental fortitude. You know, can he sort of put the last match behind him and kind of just focus 100% on this weekend?
Well, let's take a look, too, because I think it's really interesting that Sulky managed to come back in. In a way, he kind of authored a guidebook to how to beat Innovation.
Yeah,
Innovation
no
with
kidding,
those really greedy, fast third command center builds.
Yeah.
It was really abused by Sulky with those timings, and not only that, but Innovation's seeming refusal to kind of build tanks in order to deal with the roach pressure that Sulky was putting on him in the latter games of that series.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. That's a really great point that you bring up, that Innovation is kind of completely exposed right now. There's no mystery to how this guy plays. If he wants to win this weekend, he's going to need to kind of go through a bit of a transformation. You know, he's going to need to change his style a bit, I think.
You might say he needs to go through a revival.
That's right, almost. He needs some morph a bit. All right, so if we look at the builds we have now, we've got that quick circling speed coming again for Revival. Very common stuff. Hatchery just finishing now. And we will see Innovation just finish up that command center too. So it's really relatively the same in a lot of cases, unless there's some sort of early all-in TVZ. The big sort of shifts come, you know, around that 6-minute mark, around when you start to see the tech added, when you start to see the variations in where and when someone is getting gas. But Innovation, with that bunker at the front that he's getting, seeming to indicate that he's going to be playing this one pretty safe.
And not a shocker there, really. This is pretty much what we saw from Innovation throughout the TVZ matches that he played in WCS Korea.
Yep.
The lone SCV, forever on the run.
Come home, SCV. Nobody in that bunker, but the Zerglings don't know that. So that's fine. Yeah. So I'm curious to see if we're going to see Innovation jump into some of that Hellbat. So, oh, is he going to get that Overlord? I guess so. He gets the Overlord. That's a bit annoying. The Zerglings trying to be a bit annoying themselves. They do take out that SCV, but right after the supply depot finishes.